Then there are some guys who are tech people like you, and we know that's where the money is as well. So apart from these two skill sets, are there any particular other skill sets that one needs to possess before Japan? And if yes, what are they? And also, if I need to Japa, I have the money, I don't have the skill set. Can I pick a skill set on the go? Can I develop it as I'm on my way, or do I need to do that first before I Japa?
Okay, thank you for that. I'd like to, you know, dissect these questions in two parts, right? Because we all know the easiest way to, leave the country is either with school or with work. And work encompasses digital nomad or job seeker, all of that, right? Now, if you're going as a student, that's the easiest, right? Just get an admission, go to school. Once you're done, find your way. Okay. So I'll start off on that side. If you're going as a student, now you should go with the mentality that after studies, you're gonna find a job. Right? You're gonna go searching for a job. What are the skills that you would use to get those jobs? You're already there, but you need a good job still, right? What are the skills? Now, what you go to study is also very important. You need to do your research and say, hey, I'm going to the UK, I'm going to Europe or whatever country, and I'm going to study this for my master's, right? Whatever you're going to study for your master's, do you do your research about that country's current market for the kind of jobs you can get with that master's? Is that field saturated? Is it a field where there are a lot of people who, a lot of companies who are looking for such professionals or such, employees in that field? So if you go, to a different country and you study something that everyone studies, and there are no jobs for that particular field, you would have to transition again and run around because you can't find a job. So that's why I said preparation from the very start. If you're going as a student, pick a school, pick uh, a field that you know that, okay, once I'm done with this master's, there are a lot of jobs available in this field in this country that I can get. Okay, so from that point of view, you're going with the notion that what I'm going to study will get me a job after studies. That's from the school perspective, right? So what is your research that you would do before you even apply uh, uh, for such masters? You have to look at the countries. You got to look at the jobs that they're in search of, because all these countries they have a lot of a list of jobs, a list of fields that they are always looking and recruiting people for. So you look at the countries first. When you find that, oh, okay, this field is what I want to do, and they have a lot of people, a lot of jobs in this field, then you can look at schools, and then you can look at finances in terms of, okay, can I afford the school? Do I have the finances to actually study and live fine? Is it expensive? All these things come into play when you're doing your research, right? Before you then apply. You don't just apply and say, because a lot of people, you know how we do it in Nigeria, a lot of people just apply for a school, get money somewhere and then go. Then you have to find a job as quickly as possible, a menial job, just to pay off the school debts and all of that. So it's going to be a lot on you, which is why I say if you have the money and you want to go through school, do your research enough. Find the right masters. Find the, do your research about the field and see if there are going to be jobs after your masters. If you do that and you're done studying, you would easily get a job, right? Another thing that I like to point out is, besides just going outside the country or not, you need to have a certain skill set in Nigeria. You need to build up yourself in whatever field, whatever thing you are doing. You need to have experiences, because even if you travel outside the country, if you submit a CV for a job, your experience still matters. It doesn't matter where or what country you have the experience in. You worked in this particular field. You've worked, if it's a year, if it's 2 years, it's an experience. It's something that you can put on your CV that you would use to apply for jobs outside of the country. So I always say, don't say, the pay is bad. You can take a job in Lagos or wherever, do it diligently for a year. Just know that you're doing it for the knowledge and the experience, right? It could be a year, it could be a year and a half. It's something that you can put on your CV that will be a starting point for your career anywhere you decide to go, right? So I'm just putting that out there. And that's, I've touched on for schooling, right? Now, if you're a professional already who has a job in Nigeria, who has been working for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you said something about what are the skills that you need to, is there a new field or skills that you need to know before you travel? I can put, we all know that the digital space and IT is booming. It's like oil now. But aside from that, we also know that the medical field is also a big thing, like you mentioned, nursing and doctors. Um, so if you're in the medical field, we already know that you have a pretty predetermined route to travel, right? If you're looking at UK or Australia, for instance, and if it's IT, then it's a whole world of opportunities, and I'll touch on that more because when we talk about IT, there are a lot of opportunities or ways that you can travel. And just to list a few, you have digital nomad routes, you have a job seeker routes, and that is not even for IT only. Job seeker routes is for every professional. I'm going to touch on that. We also have the usual PR skilled worker route as well, which Australia and New Zealand are actually open to right now. So those three routes are available for professionals, right? I've already touched on school. This is for professionals who already have a good amount of experience from wherever country, their home countries. Okay. Now I'll touch on IT now. So if you're an IT person, you're an IT specialist, you've been working in a particular field for 3, 4, 5 years, and you have sound knowledge or sound experience in a particular IT field, you can always apply for certain visa types. And the visa types would be the skilled worker routes and the job seeker routes. And now this is a category that for people who are still working in their home countries, for companies in their own countries, right? Because if you have a remote job, then that's a different thing entirely, which I'm still going to touch on. But for now, if you have a job in your home country as an IT person and you're working diligently, it doesn't have to be IT only. It could be other fields, it could be business, it could be finances, it could be anything. Now, and you have at least 5 years of experience, you can go into or look into these visa routes, and those ones are the job seeker routes and the skilled work, skilled worker routes. And the countries that you can look into, not only in Europe, but also Australia, New Zealand, they have specific routes that's called the skilled worker routes that you can look into, which means you just need to prove that you have such experiences and you're an expert in a particular field, and you can apply and get PR, which is a residency in those countries. And for Europe, they have the job seeker routes, which I'm sure Germany has. Portugal just opened one as well. I think Netherlands also has it. Not sure. What is this visa type? It's a visa that allows you to come into European countries that have this visa routes. They allow you to come in for about 6 months or less, depending on the country. And what do? You only come to search for a job. So when you come in, you can just find a job in your field. You apply using your previous experiences, right? You apply, you get a job. Once you get a job, then you can transition from, the job seeker visa to the worker visa. Very easy. The only downside to it is before they will let you come in, you need to prove that you have 5 years of experience in a particular field. You're, well experienced, well knowledgeable, and also you have the funds to take you for the period of time you're looking for a job, right? If it's a 6 months, it would be you need to prove that you have enough money to take you for 6 months. I'll use Germany as an example. So Germany, the minimum wage is about 1,000 or 1,200 euros a month. So you need to be able to prove that you have 1,002 times 6 months to take you for the period of time that you're there looking for the job. Okay. Now, this is a route that is open to everybody in every field. It's only easier because IT, like I said, is oil. If you're in IT, it's easier for you because you can get jobs as easy as like that, right? If you're experienced with 5 years and you are very good, you would get a job. So that's a route that is working for professionals.